trouble. It's important for Chicago to get off to a good start with pressure defense and try to hold serve.
For Seattle, it's all about confidence. It's about Payton controlling the tempo, getting it up and down in Seattle's favor, and then the whole Sonic team has to deal effectively with Chicago's pressure defense.
And the Sonics control the opening tip. The officials, Ed T. Rush, Jess Kersey, and Hugh Hollins. Hollins not a favorite of the Chicago Bulls. Schrepp not able to hit on his first attempt. And the stuff missed by Kemp, but they keep it alive.
Well, much like game one started, a couple of offensive rebounds for Seattle as the Bulls standing flat-footed.
Percy Hawkins. Open shot for Kemp. And the tip by Johnson.
Well, really, I thought the Bulls would just come out firing defensively with pressure on the ball. 3 possessions that time for the South.
Harper draws the foul, so the Bulls going for the penetration on their first possession. Foul committed by Kemp.
Normally, it helps to make your first shot, but with the way the Sonics are just attacking the offensive board, pushing the Bulls underneath, just way too easy of a first possession for Seattle as far as Chicago is concerned.
How about Irvin Johnson? 3 rebounds. First half minute. Did not have a rebound in game number 1.
That's called making adjustments. Coaching.
Trouble already for Seattle. Sean Kemp, who is foul prone and fouled out of game 1 with an early one.
But you can't let a guy like Harper turn the corner on that triangle offense pick.
Hawkins trying to save the pass. Here comes Pippen. Scottie Pippen. One count. He travels.
A good defensive play by Gary Payton, who's actually backpedaling, but I think it's just a little juke and a little fake. It's Scottie confused it and forced the turnover.
Harper trying to draw the foul. Again, the outside shot by Kemp. Sean Kemp, who had the sensational Game 7 last Sunday against Utah and followed up 41 minutes, 32 points on 9 of 14 shooting here on Wednesday night. But committed 7 turnovers and fouled out. Longley rejected by Johnson.
Too many fakes by Longley that time.
Payton for 3. And Rodman able to get inside Kemp. Michael Jordan setting up against Detlef Schrempf. Uses the pick. And Harper able to keep it alive. Good look for Longley.
Longley is a very skilled player that, like Burkowski for Seattle, gets very little credit for what he can do with the ball.
Committed by Longley.
When you rise up for your jumper, as Longley will do here, out of the bottom of your eye, you never think pass. You always want to think shot at that moment. A good player can always dump it off at the last moment. And Luke Longley has developed into a solid basketball player.
Well, Luke is so happy to be rid of the Alonzo Mournings, the Patrick Ewings, and Shaquille O'Neals, and getting an opportunity now where there's going to be a lot of double teaming, and he is alert for it. He's going to make cuts to the basket when the double team occurs, and he's always going to be available for that spot-up shot.
Well, the Sonics had hit their last 18 free throws before the miss by Sean Kemp. It's the Sonics 5 and the Bulls 4.
That's a tough strategy to double Ron Harper in the corner.
Pippen got the step and was hammered. Foul committed by Johnson.
Well, the Sonics have been an aggressive, scrambling defensive team all league. Lots of gimmicks, lots of unusual things at the defensive end of the floor. We saw it in game 1 with the strange matchup. But continuing a little bit with Gary Payton still guarding Scottie Pippen. I expect the Bulls to put Pippen in the post a lot more and try to exploit Payton inside.
Harper and Gary Payton getting into a little verbal exchange just behind the free throw shooter Pippen. There's the press.
How about Scottie Pippen? 10 of 11 at the line in the finals. He's been shooting 65% in the playoffs at the foul line. Bulls with a 6-5 lead. Hawkins. Hawkins on the penetration. Well, George Karl saying after game one, he wanted to see his guards in particular taking it to the basket.
Well, Hawkins just 2 for 9 in game one, not asserting himself, and he caught himself that way in the Utah series as well.
Yes, and it counts.
Sometimes Hersey Hawkins, who's such a good perimeter shooter and a three-point threat, relies on that perimeter game so much, and it will draw the defense out. And when you get that opportunity, you've got to attack the basket. Luke Longley continues to be aggressive at the offensive end, not feeling any pressure at all from Irvin Johnson.
Irvin Johnson is playing a very unimaginative defensive game.
What do you mean by that?
He's not anticipating that his player is going to make a move to the basket. He's guarding Longley as if Longley's just going to catch it, stand there, and pass out every time.
Here's Kemp. Several opportunities, and they continue to control the boards. What a sequence on the offensive glass by the Sonics.
Well, no question, Seattle has come out the aggressor on the glass, and maybe Irvin Johnson is saving himself at the defensive end, because he has been a tiger on the offensive end, if not getting rebounds, keeping the ball alive, because Kemp is always there.
In effect, he's being creative at the offensive end.
Saving himself, yes.
Exactly. 7 rebounds for Irvin Johnson.
That's a Dennis Rodman-like start, but Matt was mentioning the focus and intensity of Seattle. Nowhere more evident than on the face of Shawn Kemp.
It's the Sonics 9 and the Bulls 8. Now Schrempf guarding Hopper. The backdoor pass.
Oh, that's part of the triangle offense. It usually doesn't start that far out on the floor, but you hit the post, man on the wing, always cut to the hole.
Michael Jordan with a second field goal. Bulls by 1. Kemp blocked by Pippen. Open 3 for Jordan. Rodman with the rebound and pops it up.
Good run out defensively by Irvin Johnson on Jordan's 3 attempt. Seattle still looks tentative.
There's the double team on Schrempf, and Payton fires. Hits the 3. Gary Payton, who played 47 minutes in game number 1, and probably will continue to log that kind of time with Nate McMillan bothered by the back problem.
Gary Payton, he can play the whole game. George Karl told us beforehand he felt that Gary did get a little fatigued, as did Sam Perkins down the stretch, but Gary's got to compete for full 38 here.
Longley got himself trapped, and he's called for steps.
Poor recognition by Longley that time. He just had the little man Gary Payton on him on the defensive scrambling switch. No need to get fancy there. Just step through and slam.
So the Bulls with their second turnover. They committed just 1 in the first half the other night. Hawkins for 3. And a loose ball foul against the Sonics.
Already we've seen Seattle run 3 pick-and-roll plays with Gary Payton. They ran precious few in game 1, and that's a big play for Gary Payton, except that the spacing has to be a lot better.
And that was foul number 3 on Irvin Johnson right here, coming over the back of Dennis Rodman.
I'm sure George Karl does not really care about fouls with Irvin Johnson. He's not going to play that many minutes to begin with. He only played 9 the other night. George just wants to get the most out of him he can. Sam Perkins is going to play the heavy minutes.
7 rebounds for Johnson in just under 5 minutes in this first quarter. Jordan gets inside. And the game is tied at 12.
Jordan flashing from the weak side. And when Pippen is guarded by Payton, there's just no pressure on the pass because Payton is so short.
A wild shot by Payton, or perhaps he was trying to lay it off the glass for Kemp.
Well, Marv, when you come in there as a guard, coming to the basket, you just want to get it over the defender so your guy can come and slam it home from the weak side, as Kemp did.
Foul was called on Scottie Pippen. A timeout is taken with 6:43 to go in this first quarter. There are ties to this Seattle franchise. He was actually the Sonics' first pick, 5th overall in the draft. back in 1987, but never played for Seattle.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Well, I think as a young player and coming out of NAIA high school, I was very excited just to get drafted that highly. And, you know, knowing when I left my hotel room that there was a trade on the table for me to come to Chicago after being drafted by Seattle, I was just pretty much, I guess, happy and hoping that the trade went through so I would have a chance to play with Michael.
Well, the Sonics immediately traded, is it Scott Pippen, I believe David Stern mentioned? Scottie Pippen to the Bulls for Olden Polynice and a second-round draft pick. You recall the Sonics nearly got Scottie Pippen back in a deal involving Sean Kemp 2 years ago.
That was a deal that was on the table that Seattle pulled back. Remember, that was during the time that Jordan was not playing basketball. Chicago looking more to the future. I think both teams very happy that that trade was not made.
Actually, the trade that was not made changed the history, the recent history of the NBA. Michael Jordan said he might not have come back if Pippen were not a member of the Bulls. And here is Pippen with a nice three, and just still beat the 24.
Well, the Bulls coming out of that timeout with trying to go inside to Scottie Pippen against Payton, which is something we anticipated a lot more of, to make him work down low. If not necessarily get the post play, but to get some offensive rebounds as well.
So the Bulls by one, just under 6 minutes remaining first quarter. Crowd wanted to travel on Payton. Hawkins for Schrempf, and he just did beat the 24-second buzzer.
Seattle's pump faking too much. Go right at him. These defenders are waiting for them. They're not getting in the air at all. Seattle hasn't established enough of a game where a pump fake means anything.
Hawkins rejected by Kemp.
Scottie Pippen saying, so you're the defensive player of the year. I just faced you up. I should have won that award.
Yes, Scottie certainly enjoyed doing it against the man they call the Glove. 5.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Down to 7 on the shot clock, and the Glove just did pick one off.
Good poke away by Perkins as well.
Schrempf. Well, Detlef Schrempf missed his first 4, similar to the scenario in game 1. Got off to the slow start, and that was his first field goal. Sonics lead by 1.
Good thing for Seattle is how many shot attempts they're getting, as Jordan is feeling it perfectly early on. But Seattle has taken twice as many shots as Chicago has. That's something they don't normally do.
About 10 offensive rebounds, but Bill, they've only turned it into 4 points, so it really doesn't matter how many you get, other than it shows you're aggressive, but you got to capitalize.
Here's Schrempf. Kemp. Oh, what a move by Sean Kemp. So Kemp with 8 points.
In years past, Sean Kemp would have made that play into something so much more difficult. He would have tried to double clutch and scoop, flip shot. Who knows how you can describe it. Now just playing so disciplined, so under control.
Jordan. The fadeaway on target, and Michael is 5 of 7. He has 10 points. Bulls lead by 1.
Talking to Ahmad before the game after his conversation with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan lights up when he sees Percy Hawkins as a defender.
Jordan for Rodman with Payton back, gets it back to Pippen. Well, that would have been nice.
Not enough Bulls running the floor.
Hawkins for 3. And back comes Jordan. Pippen putting the move on Hawkins. And hit it. Bulls lead 20-17.
Now, this is Chicago Bull basketball. Any kind of steal, any kind of missed shot, they want to get out on run, but so far, they look very tired to me. Very heavy letting.
But, man, it's also Seattle Sonic basketball. The question is it enough? These teams are so similar. It often seems, though, like Seattle just comes up a little bit short, almost as if they're Bulls light.
Very nice, Bill.
Now Scottie Pippen getting out and running, sensing the fast break. making sure he gets down the floor quickly and able to get the throw-ahead pass and finish. Pretty crisp, but it's always nice to have this man to bail you out. No pressure on the pass from Pippen. Double team, just too slow to get there as Michael turns away from it for that jump shot. And now just taking Hersey Hawkins down to the baseline. Payton coming way too light as Michael rises in the air.
But the good thing for Seattle is the type of shots Jordan's getting. In game 1 against Detlef Schrempf, he was just driving right through. Hersey Hawkins forced him to the fadeaway. Hannah Storm's got a report from the Sonic bench.
George Karl asking Gary Payton if he wanted to switch off defensive assignments and take Ron Harper. He's going to do that. He's also telling his team that the Bulls overreact to their penetration, so don't forget when they penetrate to kick it back out. Simple basketball, he's telling his team to stick to the basics. Bill? Mark?
Come on, take your pick, Bob. That is the second turnover committed by the Sonics. 3:06 remaining in this first quarter, and the Bulls lead by 1.
Well, we talked about Payton having to have a huge offensive night. Only 1 for 3 tonight to start the game. Not a good sign for Seattle.
And a foul called by Ed Rush. Foul committed by Kemp, and that is his second.
Scotty and Michael anticipating a little denial overplay by Gary Payton, trying to set up a backcourt cut to the basket. Terrific help on the part of Shawn Kemp. The body was there, but the reach in, and he just cannot afford to pick up those kind of fouls. He had his body there, he just had to keep his arms tighter.
So much of defense is anticipation. We saw Irvin Johnson in the early going just standing there flat-footed. That time, Shawn Kemp did not even make a play for the ball, did not visualize in advance what could possibly happen. Now he's on the bench watching, dreaming about it.
And the Bulls now lead 22-19. Tony Kukoc on the floor, applying some pressure on David Wingate, who just checked in. Wingate with 2 minutes of playing time the other night, and picked up 2 quick fouls in trying to guard Michael Jordan. Illegal defense called for the first time.
And with Shawn Kemp on the bench right now, Sam Perkins will become the primary post player right now. Of course, Sam is very effective on the perimeter with that three-point threat, but they have to put somebody inside to make the defense react.
Man, I think they can post up Detlef Schrempf, who was an awesome post-up player in the Houston series.
Offensive foul. It's on Payton. That is his first call.
Well, the other post-up option they have is that man, Gary Payton, going to take Michael Jordan inside, and not really happy with a play late in game 1 as they got tangled up, got a double technical foul. I ran into Gary Payton on the elevator yesterday saying, I am not going to take any more of that from Michael Jordan.
And it's amazing how much information Matt can pick up on those elevators. Payton with the steal and puts it down. And then apparently had something to say to Jordan.
Not a good idea.
Whispering sweet nothings into the ear of Michael Jordan. 1 point, Chicago lead. Offensive foul on Pippen.
Well, Gary Payton was told by his coach, George Karl, late in game 1 and yesterday as well, I want you to get a little crazy out there. I want you to be yourself. I want to see some arrogance. I want to see the Gary Payton that helped lead us to 64 wins. And there's a little bit of it right there, and you have to be very careful with that. Not only because the officials will nail you with the T, but you do not want to fire up Michael Jordan in this building or any building for that matter.
Judd Bushler has come on for the Bulls. Bill Wennington now defending against Sam Perkins. Nice move by Perkins. And that is his first field goal. So the Sonics have taken a 23-22 lead. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
This is Sonic basketball. This is posting up Perkins. This is getting out in transition off the steals. Sam Perkins can swing that left-handed hook from the low box. Realizes he's got Wennington, who's a position defender, not an athletic one, not a leaper. Get that whenever he wants. Nobody goes up top to block for Chicago.
3-second violation against the Bulls, giving the ball back to the Sonics. Perkins again working on Wennington. And a again hits with the running hook.
And since Sean Kemp went to the bench with 2 personal fouls, Seattle outscoring the Bulls 6-zip.
Rodman might want to switch over onto Perkins instead of Wennington.
And Jordan off the fake, run into by Wingate. Sonics are over the foul limit.
Milk whatever's working. Seattle coming right back to Sam Perkins in a mirror image of what we saw the time before. Run that play until they stop it.
It's been a long time between field goal attempts for the Chicago Bulls. They are 8 of 14 from the field, as opposed to Seattle. They have attempted 27 shots, 10 of 27. And Jordan and Pippen have combined to take 10 of the Bulls' 14 shots.
Marv, I think the layoff did hurt Jordan, did hurt Pippen. I don't really believe they'll get into full swing until Game 3 Sunday night. A little bit of stiffness. Yesterday, Michael Jordan telling us that for the first time in his life, he's having to ice. He's starting to feel stiff when he gets out of bed in the morning, limping to get going. Nice to see that he is human.
Yes, he said he did not quite have the feel in game number 1. Perkins, and a foul is called. Team foul number 4 on Chicago. It is on Bushler. George Karl was saying, though, he felt that the 7 minutes that Jordan sat out in the second half the other night, he felt the Sonics defense was great on Michael.
Well,
he wanted to make sure that point got
if he could just get Michael Jordan on the bench for 48 minutes, then everything would be fine.
Sonics by 2. We're down to 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shrep posting on Rodman. Shot clock at 5. Here's Shrep. Oh, nice move on a fadeaway by Detlef Shrep.
After a good defensive play by Tony Kukoc, who came down to help and actually batted the ball right back to Shrep, giving an assist. Kukoc.
Rodman.
Well, Dennis Rodman able to keep it alive. Last touch by Seattle. And here comes Frank Burkowski, not a favorite here in Chicago, off the flagrant foul and the consecutive technicals as he got involved with Dennis Rodman and then Jack Haley in game 1. 8-1 run by the Sonics. The Bulls are holding for final shot of this first quarter. Illegal defense. The call against Seattle, the team that led the NBA in that department.
What's interesting there is Sam Perkins coming out to double team Michael Jordan to get the ball out of his hands. Michael just so smart, just didn't give up the ball right away, tried to explore.
And when there's an illegal defense call in the final 24 seconds of the quarter, it means an automatic technical foul awarded. So Jordan to the line. And Michael is now 1 of 3 at the line.
Marv, I was talking with Rodman about this whole thing with Burkowski, and he was saying that the Bulls really won 2 games on Wednesday night. They won the basketball game, and they won the head game as well.
Funny thing, Burkowski and Haley say that they're very friendly off the court. They're going at each other as Burkowski was leaving, but they spent a lot of time in the offseason. Here's Kerr, who just checked in. Time running down. Jordan checked the clock, and that is too late. So after 1,
NBA Finals.